guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. Today I am going to do the Spell Your Name book challenge. This challenge was created by Ashley over at Ashley's Media Addiction. She did the Spell Your Name book haul challenge. I'm not going to do a book haul. I'm just going to use books that I already own, but I've challenged myself to only using books that I've not read yet. Now, this isn't going to be a TBR because I'm too much of a mood reader, but they are roughly all books that are kind of like higher on the priority for the most part. There's a couple of exceptions. So the rules of this are to spell your name, one book per letter. So for Amy, a book whose title begins with A, a book whose title begins with M, a book whose title begins with Y, and we'll get to that one in a bit. But I thought 3 letters for Amy, that's a bit easy, so we'll do it for all straight Amy's Rambles. So let's just get into it and we'll discuss the challenges as we come along. So the first one for A, we have All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. I bought this one last year actually. A friend was reading it at the time, or had been talking about it, and I thought, oh, that sounds really, really interesting. And it was in the Waterstones buy one get one half price. It has 2-second time travel. Ooh, 2 seconds, interesting. But it also has someone who can communicate with animals, and that just didn't matter what other boxes it ticked. That tick box that was going in my pile. So, All the Birds in the Sky. For M, I've gone with Minx by Julia Quinn. This is a historical romance written by the same author as the Bridgerton series. I think that's really all I need to say on it. You can see behind me, these 2 piles here are all Julia Quinn. Our friend recently moved house a few months ago and did a massive book unhaul and was very generous and gave me all of her Julia Quinns. So I'm slowly making my way through those. I've read most of the Bridgerton ones now. I've just got 2 left. So yeah, moving on. Why? Why as in, why did I do this channel with a Y in my name? Do this channel? No. Why did I do this challenge knowing there's a Y in my name? So as per the original rules of the challenge, the book title had to begin with Y. Any books with the in the name counted towards the T. There's no T's in my name. That's annoying. And really difficult now. So first I was looking for books that I'd not read that had a Y, that started with a Y. I don't have any. So I decided, right, okay, scrap the rule. If it starts with the Y, it counts. Except I don't own any. So I went scouring on my Kindle, which has a couple hundred books on it. There's nothing. Nothing. I was looking at all the books I have read. That massively expanded my selection. Still nothing. So eventually I got desperate and I went with a book that has a word beginning with Y in the title. Really clutching at straws for this one. But we got Salt on Your Tongue by Charlotte Runcie. This is a non-fiction science book about sort of the sea and women, and I'll read the first blurb for you. It makes more sense. In Salt on Your Tongue, Charlotte Runcie explores what the sea means to us, and particularly what it meant to women through the ages. In mesmerizing prose, she explores how the sea has inspired, fascinated, and terrified us, and how she herself fell in love with the deep blue. And this just sounds really interesting, and I don't read a lot of non-fiction, but when I do, I like to read science, but particularly books that show how personal science can be to scientists. I'm a scientist myself, although I just do routine science, but I do believe that particularly for those who go into routine research science, there needs to be a lot of passion. We're always talking about how science needs to be impersonal and unbiased, but there does need to be, whilst maintaining unbiased and personal approach within the work, there does need to be a huge amount of passion involved. And I love books that sort of demonstrate how those two can come together. So, salt on your tongue. I've not quite read this, but it's there for when the nonfiction urge grabs me. Okay, so the next one is R for Rambles. This one, whilst I was browsing my Kindle, it was upside down, looking for a Y book, I came across Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce his last name, but I don't know much about this book other than I think it's a more urban fantasy setting. Obviously set in London, or possibly an alternative London, I'm not entirely sure. But this one has been recommended to me by a friend a few times, and I'll get to it. I will get to it. Maybe next year. I might add it to sort of like next year's must-reads. My next A is Orion by Maggie Fury. This is a fantasy that was published in the early 90s. Has been recommended to me by my mum. I don't always click with my mum's recommendations, but when it comes to fantasy, she's usually pretty spot on. And whilst I was looking at these books and obviously flicking through them, I realised that this one used to belong to my mum. So I can't remember if she gave this to me or if I stole it, as in accidentally rehomed it. But thanks, Mum! So our next one is the M for Rambles. This one, this is why I have absolutely adored doing this challenge. It's been so much fun just going through my bookshelves and just remembering what I have. For context, I have, I think, 400 plus books, so I can't always recall at the top of my head exactly what I got. So this was just an excellent excuse to just go and have a good rummage and just sort of like rediscover my shelves. And on it, I found My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologizes by Frederick Backman. Frederick Backman is rapidly becoming a favourite author of mine. I don't often, in fact, I think I wouldn't say any of my favourite authors I write contemporary work. So this is amazing. But I've read A Man Called Uwe and I'm currently reading Anxious People and adoring both of them. So I think I bought this one, despite what the sticker says, I actually bought this one in a charity shop earlier this year when we were finally allowed back to the stores, thanks to the world falling apart. And I found this one in a charity shop rummage. Thought it sounded interesting. It reminded me, the bio reminded me quite a bit of The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. Cannot remember the author off the top of my head. But yeah, I've come so close to buying this one on Kindle. Like, I can't count how many times just within the last week. So to find it, it feels like Christmas already. Christmas has come. Right. The next one, we've got the B in Rambles, which for this one I have gone with Betrayal by Fiona McIntosh. I had no idea I had this. I have no idea what it's about, other than that it's epic fantasy. However, the one quote on the front is "A bold new voice in high fantasy" by Robin Hobb. If Robin Hobb's going to recommend something to me, I'm going to read it eventually, and that's probably why I'm on this. I'm unashamed. I adore Robin Hobb and everything she does, and she can do no wrong in my books. I couldn't include Daniela on this tag because I've read everything she read, so this is how I get her in. The L I've gone with is Life on Air. This one and the next one I'm going to read are kind of cheats because I've read a little bit of it already. I plan on, I've got this on audiobook as well, and I think it's going to be one of the next audios I listen to. But I don't think I need to justify this one. David Attenborough, everybody adores him. We all love him. He is a national icon for a reason. why wouldn't I want to read more about him? So yeah, for the next one, the E in Rambles, I have gone with, and I'm putting another Robin Hobb reference in here, but I love this author in her own right as well. So I have gone with East of the Sun, West of the Moon by Jackie Morris. I first came across Jackie Morris through Robin Hobb. She does all of the artwork for the Robin Hobb UK editions, and I've just come to absolutely adore her style. I've got a jigsaw by her on my wall in the living room. You'll see it in some of my book vlogs, the 2 hours on the wall. That's Jackie Morris, and just like flicking through some of her artwork, it's absolutely stunning. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I bought this book specifically because of the artwork, because it's just so pretty. This book, it's got the feel, I've read the first little bit. I'm using a scrap of cloth as a bookmark, but I've read a little bit, so it's kind of cheating in the not read, but I haven't actually read it, I'm still reading. But it gives off the vibes of those dark, the original darkness of fairy tales. Thumbs up so far. And the last one for S, for Amy's Rambles, as I've rambled on and on and on, is Sparrow Falling. This one I spoke about in my last book haul. It's got a steampunk, spy school, heist sort of aesthetic. It's quite short, it's not even 300 pages long. And it just comes across as it's going to be quite a fun, enjoyable standalone. So, yeah. And look, there's a dirigible. Because we all love dirigibles. But yeah, this was my challenge. This was my Spell Your Name book challenge. I really want to say this is a TBR, but it's really not. I'm too much of a mood reader for a TBR. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this one. It was just so much fun, just like going through my shelves, going through all the books, seeing what I have both on these shelves. I got shelves over there, I got shelves in my room. And yeah, I think I could maybe like do this once a year or so, just to see how I've done with my TBRs. Is there going to be any recurring on it? But yeah, if you liked it, hit that wee like button, subscribe if you fancy. If anyone watching this fancies doing this, absolutely go for it. Like I said, the original creator is Ashley over at Ashley's Media Addiction, so go give her a wee check out as well. She's pretty cool. And I'll wrap it up here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!